So in this clip, our friend Zhuo Han, who is an avid bowler like Ziqi and myself, will be playing an actual game while using our app as a demonstration. So since he does not have an account, he will have to create one and sign up, entering a valid email address, as well as a password that is at least 6 characters long. But it's hidden in this case because of Apple's password hiding feature while screen recording. So he'll start a game and prepare to make his first shot. So for his first shot, Zhuo Han will make a gutter, which means he has to click on all of the pins that are still standing and press confirm. So for his next shot, Zhuo Han will hit an 8. So he can either select all the pins that he knocked down, or he can select spare and then click on 3 and 9 to deselect them. So notice how there's this no spare found on the top left of the pins. That is part of our spare guide feature, where if the combination of pins is in our spare guide, users can click on a view spare and see the recommended line to bowl the spare. So in this case, this particular combination has not been implemented, and I'll talk about that more later on. So Zhuo Han will now throw his first shot for the second frame, hit a 9, select 5 that's still standing, confirm, and then he will carry on for the rest of his shots in the game. So after every single shot, Zhuo Han will have to come back, select the pins that are still standing for the first shot, click confirm, and then for his second shot, he will have to come back and select the pins that were knocked down, and then select confirm again. So let's speed this up until the game is over. So now that Zhuo Han's game is over, we can take a closer look at the final scoreboard. There's been a few changes since the last live demonstration, which include the modification of scores on the scoreboard, where it now shows X for strikes, backslash for spares, and a dash for open frames to more closely resemble the scoreboard in a bowling alley. So we can now select to go back to the home screen with the back to home screen button, and I'll take you through the app once again. So I mentioned about a spare guide in the demonstration video, so let's dive into that first. Let's start a game and take a look at the spare guide here. So on your first throw in a new frame, there will not be a spare guide available on the top left of your pins, because your first shot on a new frame is always going to be a new and fresh set of pins. Now this means that if you were to get a strike for every single shot in the game, you will never encounter our spare guide feature here. Let's say that for my first shot, I hit every pin except pin 7. Then I will select pin 7 and press confirm, because once again, only select the pins that are still left standing on the first shot. If you're unsure, you can always view the instructions here. Now we can see that there is an option to view spare, so let's press on that. Here, we see an image pop up showing the recommended line to bowl for that spare. Once you're ready, you can press back and go back to the previous screen. Then, remember that for this screen, select the pins that you have knocked down after your throw. If unsure, you can once again view the instructions here. Now, if I were to select another combination that does not yet have a spare guide for that, like so, there will be no spare found. So, exiting the bowling feature, we've also built a spare guide feature into our app itself as a standalone feature. It works similarly to the spare guide in the game, but this time you can just select the pin combination for the spare. For example, I will choose 2, 4, 5, 8. Here, we can see that the option View Spare is available. So this is a button that we can click on, and we'll be able to view the spare as well. And again, if we select a combination that has not been implemented yet, it will say no spare found. There are a total of 1023 possible spares, so we will not be including all spares inside, but just the most common ones, like the ones you have just seen. Moving on to the ball collection, here is where you can store your balls, including their stats and under what condition to use each one. Starting off with an empty list, we will add a new ball by clicking on the blue plus button here. So there are a few fields to fill in here, though the only one that is really required is the ball name. Without it, you will not be able to add the ball. So the rest of the statistics can actually be easily found online, so let me just quickly add in some balls to show you. So now that we've added some balls, we can see all of them here. Let me run you through some of the things that we can do here. First, we can search for the ball that you're looking for in particular. So let's say I want to find my Trident Odyssey. I just have to search for letters that are in the name of the ball as such. Or if I want to find my blue Coral Venom, I just have to type Coral and it will show up. So next, we can also do sorting of the balls by their respective stats or name in either ascending or descending order like so. And with the weight, differential, radius of gyration, oil condition. So when the arrow is pointing down, it's sorted in descending order, and when the arrow is pointing up, it's sorted in ascending order. So with this feature, we hope users can make a more informed decision about which of their balls to use for different bowling alleys and lane conditions. We also want to allow users to upload pictures of their balls in a future update if possible, so that it is almost as if they can carry their bowling balls in their pockets. Navigating back to the balls screen, we can now move on to the final feature we have implemented, which is the analytics. Here, you will be able to see all of your bowling statistics in a concise summary alongside visually pleasing and informative graphs. Starting on a new account with no games played, the analytics will prompt the user to start a game first. There are different tabs for different categories of statistics to provide a more comprehensive understanding of a user's bowling journey. Each tab represents a different period, providing valuable insights into the user's performance during these different time frames. The exact benefits to having these different tabs are further elaborated in our README that can be found in the description below. Now let me add some games and show you how the stats are calculated from these games. I've added 7 games on a new account, so all the tabs will display similar statistics. From the top, we can see the summary statistics, which are mostly self-explanatory. The strike and spare rates are calculated independently, giving the percentage chance of striking or sparing only at every opportunity that the bowler gets. The first shot average is the average number of pins that are knocked down out of all the shots thrown at every new frame. We can also see a pie chart giving us the percentages of the opens, spares, and strikes relative to each other so users can understand how their frames play out, since each frame can only end as an open, spare, or strike. Moving on to the graphs, which are also mostly self-explanatory, they can show a user's progress over a certain number of games. We have the score across games, strike and spare rate across games, and finally, the first shot average across games. Every data point on the graphs represent a single game played. Each graph is also horizontally scrollable, so you can see beyond the screen. Now, following the instructions in pink, by tapping and holding below a data point, one can see the exact value of a data point. And this works for the first shot average across games as well by tapping above the data points. As for the strike and spare rates, which are on the same graph, the strike line is in green color while the spare line is in peach color, like the pie chart. The strike and spare rates are also labeled in their respective colors. And that's about it. You may choose to sign out by heading to the Settings tab and clicking on Sign Out. Thank you for watching and following our project.